Okay, so I'm going to show you how I made a homemade snare to trap coyote or wild dogs or whatever animals trying to eat your livestock. You're going to trap them, and you can use a snare. So this is a snare that to trap them. And how I did it is I took a metal cable. You see, just a metal cable. It's very strong. This small cable can handle about 500 pounds. It's very strong cable. And you can take a quarter, a penny or a quarter, and using a vice grip or using a clamp, you can bend it. Before you bend it into 90 degrees like this, before you bend it, you can drill two holes at opposite sides, like two holes, just like I did on my quarter here. I drill two holes with a drill bit. This is a metal drill bit. With a drill bit, you drill two opposite holes. Then, using a clamp, like a clamp, you clamp this down and bend it into 90 degrees angle, just like that. See, it is at a 90-degree angle. Once you do that, you thread the cable through the hole just like this, so it makes a loop. You see, it makes a loop. At the end, you can put a crimp. I did not have a crimp, so I put a washer. And then hammered it down, made it like a crimp. You see, so it's crimped down. Like I said, if you don't have a crimp, is better because it'll be more cleaner. If we don't, improvise something like this. So once you do that, on the opposite side, I made similar. I found a little piece of metal, aluminium. I made it into a crimp and hammered it down, squished it down. So on the other end, I have this. Now, when you're going to set it up, you're going to set it up like this. So when the animal put their head, it'll go just like that. You see, it'll go just like that, and the animal will not be able to get out. The more they pull, the tighter it gets. You see, the more I pull, and tighter it gets. It doesn't come loose much because that penny, that is a 90-degree angle. You see, that quarter. In this case, you can use quarter or penny. That will cinch it down and let it go. Now, if you want to do it more humanely, that you don't want to kill the animal, you can put a little stopper, like a little crimp, so that it doesn't close all the way. It closes like almost close enough, but doesn't choke them out. So if you want that, you don't want to kill them or choke them out, you can put a crimp like this, whatever animal you're trapping, so that it will stop there. It won't go beyond that, right? So a little crimp or a nut that is tight, that you can cinch it down around that area where you want to stop it. So it will not go beyond that. So that is how you do it. A homemade snare. It works very well if you know how to set it up. So that is how you make it. Now, how I set it up, I'll show you. Because we have like coyotes and wild dogs, things like that, coming and eating our livestock. And recently they have dug a hole in under the fence, so that it's very targeted. When you have a snare trap, the snare has to be very targeted. So I know they're going to come again through the same hole, because that's the only hole in the fence, right? So they're going to come through there again, maybe tonight. So what I'm going to do is I put a snare already. You see the snare I put? There is a snare I put right there. You see, in this case it's a penny, and it'll go. You see, I put a washer, a penny, When the animal goes in there, it goes like that and the animal will be caught. Now how I set it up is I put the nut there and I opened it up like this, so when it comes through it will get around his neck. Of course the head and the neck are like small, so it will go in, but the body, when the body comes in, it will cinch it tight. And I'm holding this snare with this little piece of wire, you see. So this wire is going to hold it at a 90-degree angle. You want this at a 90-degree angle. And I had this little hooks I put like that, so it keeps it open, you see. It'll keep it open just barely, you see. You have to keep it like just barely, so that it doesn't, like when the wind comes, it doesn't fall off. So this will make sure when the wind hits or something, or some birds, it won't just fall off. It has to be an animal that will set it off. Once it sets off, it will work. And the other end of the cable, I have put it over this old T-post and gate, so it doesn't, you see, it's going around that gate. So if you have a T-post or a gate, you can put it around. If you don't have anything, you can put around the fence itself like a loop, so they're not going anywhere. So when the animal is stuck, he's stuck, right? And see that, so I narrowed it down with these things, so the animal can only come through here, because the snare has to be very targeted. So that is what I have to catch the predator that is eating my birds and things. So that's how it looks. Now to attract them, you could put some food, like something that animals like, and it will go there. And if you don't want your pets, like your dogs and things like that, to be caught, you have to put it in an area that you can control. So here in this little fenced area, I have a gate. So I close the gate so my dog won't go in there, and the coyote comes or whatever comes, it will be caught. You can also catch wild hog, things like that, using this process. And then I have an old cage, like a trap, and it broke, it doesn't work anymore. I'm thinking to use it as a snare trap as well, to catch anything you want. You can catch a wild boar or anything. The good thing about this trap is that it has a little container, a little cage, that you can put a little bird, like little chicken or something, to attract them. And you can put the chicken in there with the food and water and everything, so chickens, is alive. And just set it up. You place it, the chicken will become the target for the coyote or the fox or whatever you're trying to get. And now since this is broken, because it used to work when something steps on it, it'll close the gate, the door. But since it's broken, I'm going to use it as a snare trap. So the second snare I'm making is for this one. I'm going to tie it to a post or something solid like this. Could be a tree, whatever it is. I tie the snare, one end of the snare there. Other end of the snare will go inside the cage. You see the inside the cage? You see? So I'll put a snare like this. So whenever the animal go in there to get the food, it will be caught in the snare. And you can't go anywhere. So that is another way to catch with a snare, is using a old broken cage, whatever you have. So that snare is very targeted, so animal goes only through the cage, only then they get caught, and the food is in the cage, so they have to go through it. There is no other way. So snare, that's how it works. It has to be very targeted to be effective, otherwise it's not going to work. All right, so this is, let's see how you catch those predators when they come. So yeah, like I said, it's very effective to catch predators that are eating your livestock, and this is very cheap to make. You can buy it online ready made but they charge a lot of money. So this one is very easy. You just make it in this gate. See, I'm going to keep it closed so that with the gate I'm going to keep it closed so that our dogs don't go in there. That's how you do it.